Welcome into another edition of On the Tee, kind of a play of On the Mark. Anita Marks with you, and of course, the two wonderful individuals who host this golf show with me, John Mascari, head pro at Alpine Country Club, whoa, and Christina Thompson, of course, owner extraordinaire, CEO of Golf for Her. That's why she always looks so fabulous when we host this show. So, guys, hi.
Hi.
Should we talk about our show drink? Because we always start off the show. We always have a show drink surrounding all about our next tournament. Or let's do that first because I'm about to eat a lot of crow. So
yeah, I'm about to gloat for a little bit. So let's do the drink first.
Let's do the drink. But before okay. All right, I'll let you do your drink first.
All right. Well, as everyone knows, we're going to do our 19th hole drink. This week's drink is Talk Birdie to Me.
Woohoo! I like it.
Right? So I know a dark and stormy is usually like the go-to drink down at PGA National where they're hosting this week's Honda Classic. But I wanted to change it up a little bit and do it's like a mojito type of drink. I mean, if Palm Beach was a drink, this would be the drink. It's basically muddled. I muddled up some mint and some strawberries, added some rum, passion fruit, lime juice, simple syrup, added to a shaker. Baby, this is a delicious 19th hole drink. It's really good. So I definitely recommend trying this. I gotta tell you, we have our lake house that we go up to every summer, and all of these recipes are going into our lake house recipe book because we are going to be serving up like massive mixologies. Like it's going to be insane, but this one's a good one. This is
it looks, you know what it looks like a little bit? It looks a little bit like a tequila sunrise.
It's delicious.
Right? I'm not saying that that's what it is, but it kind of looks like a tequila sunrise.
Yeah.
And I love the name, Talk Birdie to Me.
Talk Birdie to Me.
What is your
song in there?
What does your kitchen look like after making this drink?
It looks like an explosion of lemons and limes, and it's
Jesus. Muddling mint. I mean,
muddled mint. I muddled strawberries. I'm telling you, I'm going to be a mixologist after this is all done. If Golf for Her doesn't work out, I'm going to be a bartender somewhere.
Stop it. Golf for Her is working out. What are you talking about? So listen, look, this is what I'm drinking today. You know that I'm getting ready for golf season when I'm drinking.
Oh boy.
High noon, baby.
High noon.
Woo! And I got my peach.
They're good.
It's so, It's and it's gluten free.
They're actually very good.
They're very good.
Well, here's a few things about my hair is so wild today.
Hey, it's the 80s show on the Mark.
I know. What's going on with my hair tonight? Anyway, a few things. Number one, like when you make the turn at a golf course, to me, there's nothing more refreshing, nothing better. That's number one. Number two, God bless golf courses that could get their hands on these, right? And of course, our good friend Christine, who runs Rivervale Country Club, she's got the hookup. I mean, she's got every flavor, and on top of that, I mean, peach. If you could get peach, God bless you, because peach is gold. I mean, they've got grapefruit, they've got blackberry, they've got a lot of different
coconut.
flavors.
I like the coconut one. That's good.
I have never had the coconut.
It's good too.
Well, you should have the coconut.
It's very good.
Do you have the coconut at Alpine Country Club, John?
We do not.
But they will.
Right?
But we have it at the Mascari Country Club. So
anyway,
nice.
So we always, like I said, we always like to start the show with our show drink. And even though my kitchen doesn't look like a complete mess, which I'm sure Christina's does.
Oh my God. It's just so sticky in there right now.
I just went in there and I grabbed myself my peach high noon. All right, let's get right into it. And I've got to eat crow. I mean, like I almost peed I'm going to say it. I almost pissed myself last week when Christina said that she was picking Justin Thomas to win. Did I not? I did. I mean, and actually, if you missed it, I posted. Brett was so nice. Brett's behind the glass. He's our producer. He was so nice. He sent us a clip of me. I was laughing so hard. I I may have tinkled, and I was literally I had tears coming down my face. I thought Christina was out of her mind because, you know, we know what Justin Thomas has been dealing with a lot lately. Probably the closest player on tour to Tiger Woods and Tiger Woods' family. He lost his grandfather about 3 weeks ago. And you know, he had you know, I want to say he misspoke. Okay. That was caught on tape, and he lost several sponsors. So, you know, he's been somewhat in a rut lately. And so I mean, dude put on a show. I'll tell you what, on Sunday, John, the way that he was, like, his ball striking, I mean, what a clinic. It was just unbelievable. John, so let's go to you. Well, no, actually, let's go to Christina because well, no, because I mean, I literally.
I'll see you guys later.
You literally were laughing in my face when I said Justin Thomas.
Yes,
face.
go ahead. You can
I was
do
laughing in her face. So you want to do your Justin Thomas win dance right now? Okay. All right. All right. I deserve it. I deserve
Pee Wee
it.
Herman.
Listen,
What,
you know,
let me ask you, why last week, because I was laughing so hard I probably didn't even hear words you said. Why last week were you all about JT?
well, you know, listen, we know what the beginning of his year has been, and he's had an emotional start. I mean, he's had a lot of challenges, like you mentioned earlier, and you know, I honestly think that this kid, he's a great player, and he was in his element. I know, you know, he plays well at this course, and you know, there was just all the information, the data just kind of stacked up to say, look, you know, if he can get his head on straight, he can really navigate this course. And, you know, on Sunday, I'm not going to lie, I was stressed out watching this. This is why I don't like to gamble, is because it stresses me out when you have a horse in the race and he's doing well. He had these putts on the front nine that he wasn't converting. So I'm sitting here going, oh man, he's not going to do it. So I was like, you know, I was sweating, and then he made the turn, and it was like he lit it up, and he was just like, he was in the zone. He went birdie, birdie, birdie. I mean, even up to the 18th hole when he took that drive on 18, and he got a lucky bounce. That ball could have went right into the drink. But you know, there's a lot riding. You know, there's a lot of momentum with, you know. Listen, he's a good player, and he just had a lot of numbers behind it. And I just thought at some point he was going to break through and have that win. And I don't know. Listen, it was a little bit eeny, meeny, miny, mo too. I'm not going to lie, but I made some money.
Good for you, Mama. Good for you. John, let's go to you. What did you see from Justin Thomas, especially on Sunday, as to why you feel he sealed the deal this week?
I was so impressed, to your point, Anita, with his ball striking. He hit all greens except for the 18th, and he just missed. He hit 31 greens in regulation over the weekend. So phenomenal ball striking clinic put on by JT. Makes a huge putt on 17, a 5-footer, and then, you know, Lee Westwood goes ahead and 3 putts on 17 to kind of seal the deal. I did have a little bit of like, oh, when he hit that drive on 18, that little, I'll call it a smother type hook ball, and this thing is bending towards the water. I'm like, oh my God, did he just? And for some miraculous reason, it just kind of kicks forward. Christina, you were texting me during it like you were throwing up in your mouth.
I was throwing up in my mouth watching that.
And some way it doesn't hook, and it rolled for like 60 yards, and he just has an easy little wedge into the green and seals the deal. But tremendous playing on the weekend by him. 14th win in his young career. Think about that. 14th win before the age of 28. I think it was Tiger, Nicklaus, and Johnny Miller are the only others to have that amount of tour wins before their 28th birthday. So, you know, he really hasn't been in contention since Hawaii. He hasn't had a top 10 since then, and it's good to see him back. And
gotta believe.
Really, I loved watching it just from an emotional standpoint. You know, he was really choked up, you know, talking about his grandfather, and then they had that picture of him just kind of sitting by himself. I thought that was really cool, just kind of taking it all in.
It was really, really, really unbelievable. But let's go back to the end of Saturday and heading into Sunday, and the fact that Lee Westwood and Bryson DeChambeau were at the top of the leaderboard again. And you're like, I just felt like saying, wait a minute, is this Groundhog Day? Like,
right.
how many? And I'm curious, you guys might not know this. I don't know this, but how many times in the history of the PGA Tour that back-to-back weeks you go into a final Sunday round with the same two guys at the top of the leaderboard?
Yeah.
Like,
I can't think of when that happened before. Maybe like David Duval and Tiger when they were at the top of the sport, but it was and two totally different players also.
Totally. Yeah.
So
it was interesting. And listen, I mean, I was really impressed with Lee. I mean, to come back for back-to-back weeks and be in contention, it was just so heartbreaking to watch him not be able to close. I mean, it was hard. I was rooting for Lee because I'd love to see the 47-year-old win, but at the same time, I was also looking for JT, so I was able to come on the show today and gloat. So I mean, I was torn.
I think he could have played better on Sunday. I think it was his tournament to lose. And I think he did lose it, But what I loved about Lee Westwood was he just looked so at ease on the golf course.
Totally.
Right? He looked just really comfortable, smiling, facial expressions after making a tricky putt. And that's big for him. I think that's, obviously a sign of his maturity, but that he's not taking himself or the game, the moment, I should say, letting him overtake him and take it too seriously. So
before we start talking about Bryson, Christina, and just so folks who are watching the show, so obviously the three of us have a text message thread, and we text each other quite a few times during the course of the week. And by the way, guys, I'm really sorry about earlier today. So I just recently switched over to the iPhone as opposed to my Samsung Galaxy. I'm hating it. I don't know. What? I don't know how. I can't. So all right. So when I host Daily Wager on ESPN, I have to use my earbuds. That's how I listen to the audio of the show because I'm doing it remote. But while you're texting me, we're hearing ding 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 ding.
I'll show you how to turn it off.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm trying. I can't. Anyway,
I got you. I'll take care of you.
I've derailed. Anyway, the whole point is Christina sent us an interesting article in regard to Lee Westwood and what he does with his irons, where is it with a marker? He marks the distance. With every, and so Christina sends the text message and says, "This is a great idea," and then John Mascari responds and says, "No, it ain't." So Christina, tell us a little bit more, because I didn't read the whole thing. I just, I did the Cliff's Notes version. So kind of share with us exactly what Lee does. And I'm curious, John, you could follow up as to why you think that's not a good idea.
Sure.
Well, I mean, in short, I believe from my understanding of what he does is he uses a Sharpie. He writes his carry distance for each of those clubs.
Right.
And so for me, I thought it was a brilliant idea because I actually turned to my husband and I said, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "I'm going to go do this on all of my clubs." And he looked at me like, that would make no sense. And for every reason, John is going to tell you why that doesn't make sense. In my brain, it makes sense because when I go up to when I get ready to take a shot, sometimes I'm like, okay, wait, what am I hitting here? And what's my carry on this? And which club? And, you can plus or minus figure out which club you need to hit. I think it's great. I don't know much more than that's what he started doing. And so I just thought it was very interesting that that's the approach he took. So, John, why is that a terrible idea?
Okay. So for Lee Westwood, maybe a good idea, because Lee Westwood knows that he's going to hit the 7-iron 187 yards, give or take a yard or two every time.
Mm-hmm.
If the majority of golfers, the 99.8 to 9.9% of golfers would have to write a little bit more of a delta on each side of that. I like the idea of having hey, this is going to go 150 yards, normal swing. Maybe you want to say, if I've got anywhere from 145 to 155 on this shot, but I think for the average golfer, you kind of go in somewhat of 10-yard increments most of the time, and just kind of have your 7-iron and go from there. And, you want to hit a little shorter, you want to hit it longer, just choke up.
But I understand where Christina is coming from because, a lot of times, you're sitting there and if you have that yardage right there in front of you, like you have an understanding that it's not an exact science. You're not a pro, but at least like if you have that right in front of you, you can make a quicker assessment.
Yeah.
In regard to what club to grab. You know,
because I have a cheat sheet in my bag. I mean, I've been playing golf for 20 years. I mean, I should know how far I hit my 7 iron at this point. But you know, there's times and there's periods where I'm hitting it longer than other seasons. And so my cheat sheet kind of does range. And you know, as when I'm feeling more comfortable with my game and having more distance, obviously that doesn't really work. But I do have a little cheat sheet because I literally have like ADHD. I can't remember what I am so bad with it that I sometimes, honestly, I just can't remember. So I think, listen, I know, John, you're rubbing your eyes. Why? You look like this is like a PGA Tour pros, like teaching pros, like nightmare. If you're student,
I'm just thinking. Now I'm thinking about the cheat sheet in your bag. Is it laminated?
It is not. It's actually no.
You have iron covers also.
Okay, go ahead. keep going.
High noon. No. Listen, if it floats your boat, if it makes you feel better,
it's a crutch. It's a little bit of a crutch. I'm not gonna lie, but I just thought it was really interesting that he took that approach. I'm not sure when he started doing this. I know it's been a little while, but I just thought it was very interesting that that's what he took, and it was interesting.
Don't you think his caddy should know those numbers?
Hey. Leave Helen alone.
For the second week in a row, she was trending.
Oh yeah.
I wonder why.
Well, I think
she looks like a goddamn cop with those aviator glasses on.
All right, let's talk about
nothing wrong with that.
Let's talk about Bryson DeChambeau, right? He loses by 2 strokes, but he has, you know, as Janet Jackson liked to call it, a wardrobe malfunction. He had a equipment malfunction. Now we know he uses Cobras, but also he tinkers with them, right? Like from what I understand, he's got like, you know, this is why he's known as the mad scientist, right? Mm-hmm. He's got, you know, he's so anyway, apparently, I guess the shaft is hollow, like most clubs are, and it cracked, it broke, and that's what caused him to go in the water. What was it? Was it holes? Was it hole 16?
Here. So fourth hole. So he had a crack along the bottom of the club here.
Oh,
so
okay.
He had a prototype 4-iron that he was working with Cobra.
Wait. Brett, if you can go into a one-on-one with let's show John. Yeah, there we go. That beautiful.
Hi, how are you?
That beautiful.
Welcome to On the Tee. I'm John Mascari here.
So
I'm going to hold up my iron. So this is my 8-iron, but he had
a 4 utility.
Yeah, but he had a crack along the bottom of the club, right along here. Right. So the back of his club is hollow. These are my new Callaway irons, but he has a cavity back here. Shameless plug. And it cracked. So
it did crack while he was playing, like on the last hole.
Yeah, it did. And he said that he hit that second shot and kind of almost shanked it out to the right. And he was like, "Yeah, this didn't sound right." You know right away when a club is broken when you hit it. Yeah. It has a totally different sound and feel to it. And after that, he didn't play. Now you're allowed to play with the broken club if you wanted to. Rule 4-1 allows you to play with it, but he just took it out of play because it was damaged and unplayable.
Yeah,
and it cost him 2 shots.
Also, John, let's talk about why this course played so hard. I mean, you had some pretty big names that didn't make the cut, right? Mm-hmm. Like Rory Bean, obviously, and you saw Ian Poulter. Did you see his video that he shared?
Yes, that was fantastic.
Who was
awesome?
It was
Rory, Tyrrell Hatton, and Stenson. I think he got up and left the table.
And they're sitting there. They're drinking Diet Coke and eating those peanuts that we're all told not to reach into the bowl for because we know it's on them. And they were talking about I don't think all 4 of them missed the cut, right?
Yeah, they were like 4 of us, 29 over.
Yeah, ridiculous. So a few things. Number one, what was it about TPC Sawgrass that made it so difficult this week? And number 2, let's talk about 17. 35 balls went into the water on day one. 35, second largest number of balls in the water on hole 17 in a single day. What did you see in regard to how that course played as to why so many great golfers did so poorly?
Yeah, I think it really came down to the firm conditions. It got really quick and it got really firm, and the wind picked up, and it acts like a hair dryer and just dries out the place. So balls were running through fairways into rough. The rough was thick. Obviously, the green complexes are well guarded. But I think the wind had a huge amount to play with it. And, talking about 17, yes, I mean, they showed you that graphic on TV with the winds at different levels, at different heights. But for me, I mean, listen, 17 really isn't a very difficult hole from a yardage perspective. But it's visually intimidating. It's the fear of hitting the ball into the water. You come off of 16, you do that long walk around the water. Every camera's in front of you. You know where you're going. It's like you're being led to the ring, getting in a boxing match. And I always think of it this way. It's like if I gave you, let's say I put a 12-inch wide piece of wood down and said, Anita and Christina, I need you guys to walk across this without falling off. You would be like, okay, that's no problem. But if I put that on a 10-story building between two 10-story buildings, would you go ahead and do it? You'd be very fearful. So
how much you pay me to do it?
I'll give you a sawbuck.
And where'd you come up with this ridiculous analogy?
I was just thinking about it today, and I'm like, it's kind of like walking across like a piece of wood. It's real easy to do when there's no fear. But if you put fear into the mix, you're like, holy fuck, I'm going to fall off and kill myself.
But you know what? Look at Adam Scott. Adam Scott put on he was doing like a clinic over there. He had 4 birdies on 17.
Let's be serious. If you, 130 something, 35, 37 yards? If you put a tour player in the middle of the fairway from 135 yards off a perfect lie,
they should.
Oh my God, they're going to cover the pin. But you put the water and the crowd and all of the hype that goes around 17 and the pictures and the drone and this and that. And boy, that grip gets a little tighter. You're worried about the wind.
Yeah. Who's shot? Someone got an 11, right? Was that the high score on that hole?
I think that was Kevin Na.
Was it?
Headed, yeah, and I think we're headed, before we move on to previewing the Honda Classic, coming your way in just a few seconds. Ricky again wets the bed. Guys, seriously. And you know what, Christina, God bless you for wearing orange, mama.
I did this for Ricky because we really need to give him some support. We really do need to show him some love because, man, either that or go back to making more commercials.
Are we really talking about supporting Ricky Fowler?
Oh, really?
I mean,
Nikki?
come on. I mean, I love this. Listen, this kid could have been a star. I don't want to say could have because it's over, but
John, what's your beef with him? He's really out of all the tour players, like he's like one of the nicest guys.
The nicest guys.
What's your beef with him?
I'm sure he's a great guy. I just think he's extremely overrated. Extremely overrated.
Well,
a lot of people think that though.
The Nile ain't just a river in Egypt.
What was that?
Listen, I've got my
The Nile ain't just a river in Egypt.
Rory has not been able to pull it together all season, guys. We're getting closer to the Masters.
Have you been watching any of his, interviews at all?
Because I thought they were awesome. I loved his honesty.
So honest.
Right?
So honest. Everything. Okay. He's very candid, very transparent about what's going on, but you can see what's going on. There's stuff going on in here, and he's really trying to figure out. He's getting more distance, he was saying, but yet he's having a harder time converting that distance, and so he's changed his swing. Yeah, he's figuring stuff out. I hope he can figure it out before the Masters, but
well, he's getting longer for one reason.
Yeah.
Right? He said it. He's trying to compete with DeChambeau.
Right.
So his swing has gotten longer. It's gotten flatter. He certainly has picked up speed, but, he's having a tough time controlling it. And I thought it was just really honest that he said that, after watching, especially Bryson at the U.S. Open, take down that golf course, that he felt the need to get longer. Newsflash, Rory McIlroy hits the shit out of the ball.
Exactly. So,
it's like, really, you want to get longer, dude?
But what is it about? Like, so, okay, so and this is a conversation I wanted to have, right? Like, number one, is Bryson DeChambeau and how he plays the game and his distance do you feel that he's driving the needle? Do you feel that he is the must watch? He's the one player that is, getting the golf viewership more than, as we like to call them in the business, the P1s. The three of us are going to watch anyway, whether Bryson plays or not. We're going to be watching golf. We're going to be following golf. We're going to be betting on golf. Is Bryson the player right now that you feel is driving the needle when it comes to the PGA Tour? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes. People know his name. I mean, people know his name more than they did 2 years ago because of all of this. I mean, every single interview, every single conversation with any other tour pro, they're asking them about Bryson. Bryson is getting a lot of media attention. He's rightfully so. I mean, he's doing some crazy shit out there. But, he's putting on driving clinics out there. He's playing well. He's won a major. I mean, he's winning. So is he the need? I mean, listen, he's definitely the circus show. There's definitely the attraction right now at the tour that people are turning it on. So it is interesting. I don't know how long it's going to last though.
So now here's the second part of my question, because we're on agreement that he is, do you feel that golfers are hurting themselves because there's really no need to change their game, but they're feeling like they are because that's what's driving the needle? That's what's, just to piggyback on what you said, John, was there really a need for Rory to change the way that he drives the ball, or is 20 more yards going to give him something different? Dude was crushing it anyway before that. So why? Just why?
I guess he feels that that's how he can compete. And it's similar to a race car driver where they need to get a better engine. And Rory felt that the golf courses were setting up for Bryson much better because he could just hit it all over the problems and hit it all over the trouble. And what people don't realize is that Bryson DeChambeau is really good out of the rough for one main reason is his clubs, especially his shorter irons, are longer. Remember, he has one length golf club. So his wedge is the same length as his 7-iron, which means he can create more speed. It's a little more upright of a club, and he can dig out of the rough easier. Whereas when Rory is in there, it's a shorter club, and he can't swing it as hard. So Bryson has an advantage there. But I think, you used the point before, Christina, you said he was like the circus out there. And I think that's a really bad way to talk about Bryson DeChambeau because, listen, the guy's won the U.S. Open, the U.S. Am, the NCAA championship. He's won 5 times on tour. He's got the all-around game to be a superstar player. He's won everywhere he's played. He's not a freak show. He hits it a long way. And listen, people love that. I don't care if he's 10 shots out of the lead or 10 shots in the lead. There's going to be a camera crew with him on the golf course, no matter where he is, because people love to talk about that. People leading up to the Arnold Palmer, what was the talk about the tournament? Can DeChambeau drive it onto the green on the par 5? It wasn't about who's going to win, who's playing well coming into the tournament. It was about Bryson. Okay? So I think that's great for the game. He's got the game to back it up. He's not just a long drive hitter. It's not like he's going out and shooting 5 over. Okay? He's got the all-around game, and it's the fact that he hits it so long is just a bonus.
No.
So there, Christina. So there. Stick that in your birdie. What's our drink again?
I'm going to talk birdie to me.
Talk birdie to me.
Stick that in your talk birdie to me and drink it.
Well, let me just add one more thing though. Going back to Justin Thomas, he was talking about Bryson a few weeks ago, and he had said they had asked him, like, what do you think about Bryson and hitting, and what are you doing to change your game so do you want to hit longer? He's like, listen, I'm going to play my game. I'm going to work on what my skills are. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to work on my accuracy. I'd rather be accurate than, be able to hit the ball longer. So, I mean, listen,
you know why he said that?
Don't say it.
Do you know why he said that?
Why?
Because he can't hit it that far.
Well, I mean, most people.
It's like saying, I'm just going to work out with the 5-pound dumbbells. I'm going to do lots of reps with them.
No, Bryson's good. It's all good.
But Rory thinks he can hit it as far as Bryson.
There's nothing wrong with the 5-pound dumbbells, Jonathan. No. Really quick before we move on to the Honda Classic, Kevin Na All right. He withdraws because of a back injury. Wink, wink. I believe that he was the individual who went into the drink 3 times and got an 11 on 17. But here's the thing. He withdraws. Now you've got a threesome playing as a twosome, and it's slow to begin with. And so that screws them over. Like if I'm a tour player and he was in my group and he withdrew because, you got an 11 on a hole and you're not going to win this damn thing. Like now I'm a little ticked off. I'm a little ticked off at you because now you screwed me on Sunday. No, agree or disagree with me, guys.
Wow.
No, I agree.
I didn't think we were going there with it, but you're obviously very angry.
I agree.
I'm not angry. I'll tell
You're
you what.
You said, like if someone did that to you would.
I'll tell you what. If I was in that threesome that then became a twosome because little crybaby Kevin Na had to withdraw, and claiming it's a back injury, which nobody really believes it was. Yeah, you know what? If I'm that golfer, and now it's thrown off my rhythm and my timing. Playing around. Yeah, you know what? I am going to be ticked off.
He probably hurt his back going into his bag so many times for more golf balls.
Bending over to get another ball.
Bump. Where's your sound effect for that, John? Bump.
My little. I don't have one of those.
Oh, geez. All right. Brett is producing the show, by the way. If you've got any questions or comments, you can hit us up on the message board. He will share them with us at the end of the show. Brett, if you don't mind, if you can call up the FedEx Cup standings, please, just to kind of see where they stand right now and where everybody is making that money, baby. All right. So Bryson DeChambeau at the top of the FedEx Cup standings. After this win, Justin Thomas is now at 2, Cantlay at 3, Hovland at 4, and DJ is still at 5. So your top 5 in regard to the FedEx Cup standings. Obviously, if you follow golf, you know how important those standings are as we get closer to the end of the season. All right, guys. With that being said, let's start talking about the Honda Classic. So I did a deep dive, as always, in regard to the metrics needed to win here. This is, again, another Florida course. Therefore, it's going to be Bermuda greens. Also, it's ranked as one of the top 3 or 5, anywhere between the 3rd or 5th highest, most difficult golf course on tour. But it's unfortunate where it sits right now, the fact that we're just a few weeks away from the Masters. Not a lot of big name players are teeing up this week, but that's okay. I feel it's better for us, better opportunity to win some money and to put together some great DFS lineups. But here are the metrics that you want to keep an eye on, that if you're going to do your own research, that you want to research, that's going to help you win this week. First and foremost, same thing as last week, and that is a strokes gained on approach, especially from 175 to 200 yards out. Okay. This is a second shot golf course, that's for sure. So look at strokes gained on approach, again, specifically 175 to 200 out. Look at greens in regulation. Take a gander on driving accuracy as opposed to driving distance. You also want to look at scrambling. You also want to look at par 4 scoring. And I think those are the metrics that I looked at this week. And with that being said, I love Im. Now, wait, by the way, did you guys see that Berger is dealing with a rib injury? Because I was on the fence between Im and Daniel Berger, and then I had read that actually he's been playing with it. So it's not something that's new, but it is something that is in existence. And so Daniel Berger is dealing with some type of rib injury, rib issue. So that's why I'm going with Im. I've got Im to win 14-1. I've got him to finish in the top 5, top 10. Also on DraftKings, I love this. I love the 1-2 finish. So it's a straight. So DraftKings is the only website. No, but it's called something else. And I'm drawing a blank right now, that you could wager this, and it's called a straight forecast finish. And I've got Im first and Henley second. And if at the end of Sunday, if the end of the tournament is is that it's 375 to 1.
Can you wheel that too?
Wow.
Can you get the wheel going there?
375 to 1. So I love Henley. I like Bradley. I like Gooch. And believe it or not, I'm going old school here. I like Jim Furyk. You know, again, in looking at all these stats and metrics, those are the players that kept on popping up to me on the board. So, Brett, if you don't mind, if you can post up my my DFS lineups that I'm going to be playing this week. Here we go. So, Henley, Gooch, Furyk as well. You know, and as always, you know, I threw in some other guys whose names surfaced with a few of these metrics, but you know, Im is somebody who's like constantly in the metrics that I just shared with you. Im is somebody who's constantly at the top of the rankings in all those metrics. It's just like he's kind of, it's like a common denominator in all that. Same with Henley. What are some of the, there we go. Streelman, Neesmith. Again, two other guys that I'm kind of throwing in, trying to work in getting some good value with them as well.
I'd love to see Furyk up there, another, you know, older, you know, player. I mean, how great would that be to see him, you know, up there on the first page of the leaderboard? He
hustles, man. He's a grinder. He just grinds it. He just grinds it out. And he's great in regard, again, second shot golf course, great on approach shots. He scrambles well. He just, he does all the things that you need to do to win on this golf course. He does well. He doesn't do anything great, but he does it all well. That's why I love, one of my favorite bets is Jim Furyk to finish in the top 40 at plus 125. Let's take a look at John's DFS lineup that he sent you, Brett. What did John send in? John, why don't you break this down for us?
Is John muted?
John, you there? Uh-oh. Did we lose John's audio?
He's on a mute. Sounds like he's muted.
John, you okay, buddy? No. All right. Well, all right. So we've got,
and he's on.
So we've got, he likes Answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Casey, Hovland, M, Scheffler, Zalatoris.
The avatar. We got to get a picture. Why does he not have a photo?
I don't know. Because he's a rookie. I don't know.
No way. We got to work on that. We got to like superimpose a picture on there for the poor guy. My God.
I don't know, because he's a rookie. Who knows? All right. Let's pull up. While we're getting John back on, let's pull up Christina's monkey knife fight.
Yeah.
And tell us what you're playing here, Christina.
Well, I like Im. I mean, he's got 2 top finishes this year. He's the defending champ. I mean, I just think he's an easy pick for this. I think he's going to play well. He played well last week. I mean, I think all the numbers are there. So birdie or better, I'm going to say he's going to do more than 16.5 on this. And Lee Westwood, I mean, I went with more on him as well. Again, I mean, those numbers on his clubs, maybe that'll help him.
I like my thing is like, you know, can Westwood stay hot again for a third week in a row?
Yeah, I don't know.
Am I back? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Welcome back.
Oh, thank God.
Welcome to On the Tee.
Thank God. Minor technical difficulties. I apologize.
But like you said, can he keep the heat? I don't know. But listen, he's got good momentum. He looks good out there. He looks comfortable. I think he's going to throw up more than 15.5 birdies, or better. John, so I like that. What do you think?
John, let me ask you this, because two things, because you had Zalatoris, my guy. Willie
no, that was not my lineup. I think that was the lineup from the week before.
Oh, okay.
But I'll go through, because I like you love Sungjae Im. I like him this week. I like Keegan Bradley. I like Steele, who hasn't missed a cut in 2021. My man, teach me how to Dougie, Doug Gim. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to, and for me, my feel good story this week is going to be Jim Herman, who, let me tell you about Jim. He keeps his tour card with a win at the Wyndham last year, the last event on tour. He has to win to keep his card. He wins which allows him to play in this tournament, which he lives like 30 minutes from the club. A great guy. It's a great story. He's a former New Jersey PGA golf pro like myself. So I've had an opportunity to get to know him and play some golf with Jim. And boy, that'd be really fun to see him play well. So he's on my team. And I'm going to try to go 3 in a row. There it is.
There we got it.
There I is.
I love Steele. Again, Steele came up a lot in the metrics that I was researching. We're both on the same page with Im. I love the local boy Herman pick here. Dougie Fresh, I get it. Oh, we're both on the same page with Fearless.
Yes!
I love it.
That's your birthday boy.
That's interesting.
Your birthday buddy.
That is my birthday. Do you know that story, Christina?
I do. I think you did. You share that with us?
Definitely share that because that's an unbelievable story.
So when I turned 29, I knew that I wasn't going to celebrate 30. I knew I was going to be depressed at 30. So I had a huge party on South Beach. I was living on South Beach at the time. And I had a huge party on South Beach when I turned 29. And Jim Furyk showed up for it. Wasn't invited, but he sure showed up for it. So, but I was thrilled to have him there. So that's my Jim Furyk story. I don't know how he got him. I don't know how he showed up at my birthday party, but
doing shots with Jim Furyk at your 29th birthday party.
Pretty much, that's what happened.
That's awesome. That sounds like a fucking great time.
It was. It was. Dang! Don't diss my 29th birthday
I'm not
party.
dissing your birthday. I'm dissing drinking with Jim Furyk.
Is he a fun guy? Like, I don't know. I mean, he looks like.
Yeah, cool. He crashed my birthday party. Who does that?
I've crashed a wedding or two.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
anyway.
And anyhow. All right. So those are our plays. Those are our picks. So who do you have winning again, Christina? Because you're going for 3. You're going for 3 and up.
Yeah, this is big.
Oh, wait. Oh, you want to know who my pick is to win this tournament?
No, we want to know who your pick is to finish 20th. Of course.
All right. Brace yourself. Ready? Shane Lowry. Go ahead, giggle again. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're going to make this 3 in a row. Listen. First of all.
Listen. I don't hate it.
Listen. He finished 8th last week at Sawgrass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's an open champion. He plays well in windy conditions. And we know that PGA National is known for wind and water. Okay.
Right.
He's made all 3 cuts at the Honda Classic in his past appearances. And it's St. Patrick's week. How do you not go for the Irishman?
How about you?
Yet again, let's see. If you're listening to this, I got DeChambeau with giggles. Then I got Thomas with more giggles. Shane Lowry, I'm telling you.
I like it.
He's your man this week.
I like it. But here's my thing. Who are you and what have you done with my friend Christina? I love that you're handicapping golf. I love it.
New year, new me. What am I going to say? And I'm winning money.
John, seriously, who is she?
She's making all these fancy drinks, cashing checks and snapping necks and
listen,
buying herself more grandfather clocks.
Listen, I not only sell a good golf outfit, I can pick a winner, man. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I like Shane Lowry. I honestly, like, all kidding aside, he's, I think he's a good pick for this week. I think he's got 28-1 odds. So I think.
All right. So John and I are going Im, and you're going Shane Lowry. Those are our picks to win. And full disclosure, Christina's 2-0 the past 2 weeks. She had Bryson DeChambeau winning at Bay Hill, and she had Justin Thomas winning at Sawgrass.
I'm feeling a little bit like the Rain Man of golf right now, so I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Definitely Wapner.
Definitely Thomas. Definitely Lowry.
Definitely Lowry. Yeah.
All right. So
let's
as always, as we get closer to the Masters, let's take a look at the Masters odds and where they stand right now. And Dustin Johnson still at the top for the Masters odds to win it at 7-1, but DeChambeau 10-1, and now Justin Thomas, after what we've seen, 10-1. Out of curiosity, Christina, right now, how do you feel about the Masters? Are you feeling good about Justin Thomas?
No, not really. I'll be honest.
Wow.
No. I do. I mean, I love JT there. I mean, I do like Bryson up there. I want to wait until next week to really dive deep into it because it seems like every week things are like shifting around a little bit. DJ has been kind of boring. I haven't seen much from him. So I'd like to give it another week, see what comes out of the next tournament, and then I'll start dialing in on a pick. But I mean, I like all three of these picks. I mean, just from what I've seen, but I want to wait.
I like none of those picks, actually.
Yeah.
Who are you feeling as we get closer to the Masters, John?
I have some futures money on Sungjae Im. I like now. I mean, let's see if he's healthy. Berger and listen, I'm going to go out on a serious limb now. Hold on to your drinks.
Double hand, holding a two-hand.
Tony.
No. You can't pick Tony Finau.
I just did.
You can't.
I just picked him.
No.
I just picked him. He's winning. I'm telling you. He's got some demons to overcome. Tony Finau. Let's go.
I picked him the last 2 years to win the Masters.
And feel free to throw a top 10 on Paul Casey while you're at it.
I love Morikawa. I love Morikawa, Hovland. Those are my guys heading in as of right now. But again, we will stay on top of the Masters odds as we get closer. And we're really excited. Our On the Tee radio show will air the Sunday prior, the Sunday heading into the Masters, April 4th on 98.7 ESPN radio, Sunday morning at 8 a.m. That'll be our first On the Tee show. So we're really excited. We host On the Tee here every Tuesday night, starting at 7 o'clock, doing a little recap of the tournament that was and a little preview of the tournament that's coming up. And then, of course, on Sunday on 98.7 ESPN radio, it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of analysis heading into that final round, leaderboard, stats, all of that. So we're really excited about that. Before we end the show, Christina, since you are so well connected into the LPGA, what are some of the latest headlines and topics surrounding the LPGA? So
big news, Michelle Wie apparently is coming back for the Kia Classic tournament. I don't think she's come out and said it and announced it herself, but the tournament director, Lindsay Allen, confirmed that Wie is on the entry list for the event. So that is scheduled for March 25th. I have a feeling that this is going to be her first tournament before the ANA Inspiration, which is the major, which occurs the following week in Rancho Mirage. So this will be her first tournament in 2 years. I mean, she struggled back in 2019 with some injuries and then got married to Johnny West, as you may or may not know, the son of LA Lakers legend Jerry West. And then June of last year during COVID, she gave birth to her first child. So she's been a little bit off. She's been recovering from some wrist injuries. So I know she's been practicing. I know she's been out there. She wants to come back. She says she's coming back. I don't know. I'm hoping to see her out there. I think it's great. I'd love to see, listen, we've seen so many players as they get older, take some time off and then come back for a big win. Maybe this is her time. She needed some time off. We've seen her in the field for so many years. I think now she's got different motivations, different things that are, inspiring her. So hopefully we'll have the return of Michelle Wie. It'd be very welcome.
How long has she been off the tour, Christina? How long has she been away?
She's been away for about 2 years. 2019 was her last tournament, and she left with some injuries.
So, John, I mean, have you ever experienced that before, where you see a guy on the LPGA tour who's been away for 2 years and come back and have success?
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, you've got to keep your game sharp, but sometimes they just need a little bit of a break. I hate to say it, but. Hit the reset button, maybe focus on some things that are more important in their life. And you don't know where her head was at that point when she decided to kind of put it on pause. I mean, there might have been a lot of distractions in her life, and now she's more at peace and she's going back to what makes her happy. And I think that's just awesome to hear. Yeah,
listen, Michelle has been in the spotlight, whether she's having a good day or a bad day. I mean, she is in the spotlight, and she's that player who, has galleries that are many people deep at it. And there's been a lot of pressure on her since she came onto the tour in 2005, I think it was, when she was like 16 years old. So I have a feeling there's got to be something good about stepping away and coming back as a new person, that I think we're going to see incredible things from her if she does come back, which looks like she is.
All right, let's end on this. And Christina, you sent us an interesting article this week as well that if you can kind of share with us, I think this is an interesting conversation piece.
Yeah. And, I think it's one of these conversations that could be like an entire hour conversation. So if you don't know, on this day back in 2001, Annika Sorenstam scored her first 59 on the LPGA Tour. And it has been the only 59 on the LPGA Tour. 2 decades later, it is still the only 59 on the LPGA Tour. There's been a lot of conversations about why haven't we seen these low scores on the LPGA Tour as we have seen on the PGA Tour. I mean, there have been 52 scores of 60 or better on the PGA Tour, and by contrast, only 6 or better. 6 scores of 60 or better on the LPGA Tour. And so, we've had Jessica Korda last month or in January, she shot a 60, but that was the first time since 2008. So the question is, why haven't we? And is it the courses are just too long for the ladies to compete on? It's not because of their skill ability. These ladies are the strongest in the field has ever been. I mean, the talent on the tour is the best I've ever seen. But is the question, are these LPGA Tour courses too long to score low? And do women have scoring clubs in their hand as often as men do? And I think that is the conversation. And the answer has been, it's not. And so that was the conversation. Beth Ann Nichols, she's over at Golf Week. She did an incredible piece on this and really started the conversation about what can we do better to create opportunities for lower scoring, not making the game easier. Nobody wants it easier. I mean, they interviewed dozens of tour players, and all of them have said, listen, we don't want the courses to be easier. I mean, nobody wants a pitch and putt tournament going on out there. You can make the courses hard without making them longer. So this is the conversation that they're starting to have. And they're discussing, shortening the par 5s and some of the par 4s that give these players something to really sink their teeth into and hit clubs into the green that are designed to do just that and get some low scores on the board. I mean, there's very far and few of those like, oh my God, jump out of your seat moments when players are hitting these like memorable shots. I mean, for me, one of the most memorable shots that I can remember was in 2014 when Mo Martin, she almost made a walk-off albatross at the Women's Rico British Open. I mean, she reached a par 5 18th hole at Royal Birkdale. She hit a great drive. She took her 3-wood out. She was about 240 yards out, flew the ball up to the green, hit the flagstick, and dropped the ball about 6 feet and tapped that in for an eagle and a win. But that doesn't happen often. I mean, we can't get there. So, John, I mean, this is like your sweet spot as far as like players and the women. Like, what could they do? I mean, this is such a big conversation that I'm so glad that clubs and the tour are starting to have.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a real easy answer. The golf courses are too long. When you tune in to watch these fantastic female players, you don't want to see them hitting 3-woods into par 5s and par 4s and not being able to reach par 5s. I mean, that just contributes to like a feeling that women can't hit the ball far.
100%.
Like, oh, look at them. She can't even reach it. Like, they're exceptional players, but the golf courses are too long, and we want to see them make birdies. We want to see them with their wedges in their hands. One of the craziest thing is that people don't understand how good of wedge players they are.
Actually, I heard a stat that the LPGA Tour is actually more accurate in greens and regulation than the PGA Tour is. But they can't convert those into eagle putts or birdie putts because of where those balls are landing. They're not giving me putts, right?
Shorten up the golf courses, let them go low. Everyone likes to see low numbers. I don't care if you're LPGA or a PGA Tour player.
Right.
Who cares? If someone wins at 3 under or someone wins at 10 under, I would much rather watch the round that's 10 under, frankly.
For sure. I mean, look, nothing gets people out of their chairs in front of the television than like a 59 watch, right? So when you hear players are shooting lights out, you turn on, you want to watch it. We want to see that energy and that excitement. We need that on the LPGA.
Listen, imagine having someone, like who's a long player on the LPGA. What's her name? Van Dam?
Oh my God. She's
right? So
out.
What if there was hype with her like there was with DeChambeau about driving a par 5 or driving a long par 4?
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. What is the longest, do you know, and you might not have the answer for this, Christina, but what is the longest par 5 on the LPGA Tour? Like, what are we talking
Yardage?
about?
I don't know what the longest par 5 is. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be at one of the majors. I mean, the field in regular the courses on regular LPGA tournaments, the average is about 6,400 yards for an average LPGA tour, and then majors are usually pushed about 6,600 to 6,800 yards. So figuring it out, whatever's in there.
Okay, so Alpine Country Club from the back tee box is a little over 6,800 yards.
From where? From the back?
From the championship tees.
Yes. Okay.
Right. And
Right.
there are par 5s that I can't get home in 2 on.
Right.
At my course. And
Right.
I hit it a long way.
Right.
It's too long. It's got to be like in that 6,300 to even, I would even go like 6,100.
Well, and we've had this conversation. Actually, one of the players that I used to sponsor a few years back, Mallory Blackwelder, we had talked about this. And one of the challenges that a lot of the ladies feel is just kind of all of this. They don't have the club, that second shot in. They're hitting hybrids up to the green, and you don't want to hit it. You don't want to be hitting hybrids up to the green, right? So it distracts and it kind of, turns some ladies off from wanting to continue playing. It's not fun. They're struggling, right? So if you can't hit the right clubs to play good golf, then it's a bit of a
So just to put a big fat bow on this conversation, what needs to happen in order for it to change? Who makes those decisions? Who's going to make the decision to say, all right, we need to shorten the length of these golf courses that the LPGA is playing on? Your
new commissioner. And the new commissioner is going to he or she could set the bar and tell them, listen, it's going to provide better entertainment for our tour if people can watch the players making more birdies, making eagles, driving greens if they can, hitting it close, spinning it back with a wedge versus hitting hybrids and rolling it up the fairway onto the green. And guess what? It's free. You don't have to do anything else. It doesn't cost anything to make the golf course shorter. You can only get benefit from it. It's a no-brainer.
You okay over there?
You have a little sip of the old.
So just as a side note, I'm allergic to strawberries.
Oh, wow!
Are you fucking kidding me? Did you see the recipe had strawberries in it?
Oh my gosh!
It's like, I'm allergic to cats, but I got this cat here.
Let's
you can just add, check out the article. It's in Newsweek. Golf Week. It's a great article. She's just take a look at it. It's a good conversation. So
all right, let's end the show so you can go get your EpiPen. She is Christina Thompson from Golf for Her. Make sure you check out her site, because as I always like to say, you play better when you look good. You always want to look good on the golf course. John Mascari, head pro at Alpine Country Club. And of course, I'm Anita Marks from ESPN. So we want to thank everybody. Oh, wait, before we do, let's bring in Brett, our producer.
Yes.
Brett, do we have any, before Christina dies, do we have any questions or comments?
You all are going to forget about me because Christina was like on her last legs over here. We do have a couple questions if we want to get to them. I got 4.
Okay.
You got time? You're good?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. So at one point during Sunday's final round, Justin Thomas hit an eagle on 11, but then he had to wait like 10 plus minutes before being able to tee off on hole number 12. And that hole seemed to be bringing everything to a standstill throughout the tournament. And a lot of people are wondering, and this goes back to one of the conversations we were having on last week's show about pace of play. Should the PGA have put in the hit up policy at that point? What are your guys' thoughts on that? Throwing it out there to everybody.
That was number 12 is the one where you can drive the green.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to wait for the green to clear. I know I get pace of play. I get the guys waiting there, but if I can drive the green, I'm waiting. I'm sorry. It's going to make me more money, and you can't tell me that I have to lay up. I think you're neutering the longer player.
Yeah, but that's what happens when these players get up there and they want to drive it. Yeah.
What was the length? What was the length of the hole, John? Do you remember?
I think it's like just a little over 300, maybe like 305 or 302 or something like that.
All right, Brett, what's your next question?
Okay, at one point the cameras caught Bryson DeChambeau counting his shots as he was walking over to the green. This is something he habitually does during tournaments. Is that a bit amateurish for a PGA Tour vet to be doing? What are your guys' takes on that?
Yeah, why doesn't he have something like what is the thing?
A bead stroke counter.
Oh my God. The little bead
like,
things.
I'm always on the course going like, all right, 1 to here, 2 to there, 3 into the woods, 4 into the woods, 5 into the woods, 6. I gave up on the board. Like, should Bryson be doing that during a tournament?
I mean, it is kind of interesting. This is a guy who's like they call him the mad scientist, right? Like this guy is like uber, like a brainiac when it comes to numbers, and he doesn't know.
He's a protractor. He used to use a protractor.
Listen, I'll tell you this. And my personal opinion is people that are really, really smart are sometimes really awkward in other areas. And this is one of them where I'm like, dude, you're counting the strokes on your hand like you're a 25 handicap? I mean, like, come on, man. But it's funny. I like watching. It's like, well, 1.
I like it. I like that. I think it's fun.
All right, I have another etiquette question here. Apparently the cameras picked up the golfers doing a lot of interesting things this tournament. Lee Westwood at one point was raking out his own bunkers. We know his girlfriend was his caddy. Was this an act of chivalry, or was this weird that he was raking out his own bunkers?
We saw that too. Yeah, saw that.
Go ahead, ladies.
I just think he was being a nice guy. It was fun.
John's not answering that question.
I got so many text messages when that happened. Like, oh my God, did Westwood just rake his own trap? First time I saw that on the PGA Tour. I don't know. Did he even address that? I'm not sure if he actually addressed it. I think it was just he was there. He just raked it and he moved on.
Like, hey, listen. When a lot of times I'll play and I'll have a caddy. And if I'm in the sand and the rake is right next to me, I'll be like, I got it. Don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I don't see him do it.
Like I don't like. And granted, I'm not comparing me to a pro who's potentially trying to win a tournament, but I'm just saying sometimes you're there. The rake is there. Don't worry. I mean, don't worry, sweetheart. I got it. I got this one. Like, don't you know what I mean? Like, don't worry. Like, I don't know. I don't think it was such a big deal.
And just going back to our previous question about counting shots, one of our audience members, Mikey Old 5550, says he counts the clubs. I use driver here, 6 iron there, wedge there, and then a 2-putt. That sounds like a much better hole than what I typically
I'm with Mikey. You got it, man. That's how you do it.
And for our final question, you guys touched upon this a little bit during the show, and I think that's what inspired this question is, do we see DeChambeau really changing the approach that other golfers are starting to take to their games? Justin Thomas was quoted as saying he plays his own game. He's not going to, adapt to what other players are doing. But then he also has, it's easy for him to say because there are shots in his bag. He hit that one like rope hook 5-wood that then landed on the green with cut spin. It was like a video game shot. But do we see this being a trend going forward? Are we going to be hearing players say, I'm not going to tinker my game. I'm not going to change my game. And then all of a sudden we start seeing them drive it a lot longer, a lot flatter. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think that they're all going to say that they're not going to, and then they're going to go to their gym and they're going to go practice and they're going to try to get more distance on it.
Not with 5-pound dumbbells.
Not with 5-pound dumbbells. No. I think it's going to be interesting to see if amateurs start, going to their local pro shop and say, I want you to cut down my clubs like Bryson's. I want to hit my clubs all the same. Like, I'm curious if that's going to roll over into the amateurs.
Even more so, John, let me ask you, like, because obviously you're the club pro, you oversee the shop and all that. Are you seeing, based on like, it's not just this year, but the last 2 years, are you seeing, more people come in? I want that new driver. What's the driver that's going to give me the most distance? Is the talk and the hype around your club members wanting new equipment about driving it further? Because that's what I see. That's what I see.
110%. Everybody wants to come in and try out the new driver because they hear it could get them 10 more yards.
Mhm.
What they don't understand is that 10 more yards could be in a different direction. That's depending. You hit the ball right in the middle of the club. And listen, people have been searching for more distance for 50 years. It's always going to be the desire to hit it farther. I want to hit it farther because that means I'm closer to the green. When I'm closer to the green, I can hit a shorter iron in and hit a better shot. So there always will be a desire for distance. But to go back to the question, I think that this is going to be a resurgence in golf, that more and more players coming up through the tour are going to desire to hit it longer. And they're going to be Bryson DeChambeau disciples, and they're going to start wanting to beef up and hit the gym. And I'm going to have to start selling protein shakes in the golf shop.
Whole new market.
It's fascinating, guys, because we just have not talked this way in terms of just impacting generations to come about a golfer since Tiger Woods. The way we're talking about DeChambeau, I brought this up to you guys a couple of weeks ago. We're really talking about him as a true impact on the game across the board, across skill level, across courses, public, private, who's ever playing. It's now I want to hit it like Bryson DeChambeau. So it's very fascinating to see how that goes, guys. That is going to do it for me. Thank you to everybody watching this on PFN. If you are watching, tune in tomorrow night to the Pro Football Network YouTube channel, where Trey Wingo will be making his Pro Football Network debut at 9 p.m. Eastern with draft analyst Tony Pauline. Have a good night,
that's fun. Fantastic. And don't forget, we also have our Breaking Down the Board with me and Steve Verderosa every Friday night right here on PFN at 7 o'clock as we get closer to the NFL draft. And this week, we're going to be breaking down wide receivers. All right, guys, great job. As always, love spending my Tuesday nights with you, getting ready for the tournament, kicking off on Thursday. If you missed any portion of the show, you can rewind and check it out again. We recapped last week at TPC. We previewed this week at the Honda Classic. Hopefully, Christina 2-0 the last 2 weeks.
Can we make it 3?
And we'll see if she can make it 3. That's right. Heading into, of course, the Honda Classic this week. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We so appreciate you. We're here with you every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Have a great week and good luck this week as well.